Hey guys, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. This is a swatching video I've actually wanted to do for a while. I have this many PenBBS inks and I want to swatch them because the next kind of company or business, whatever, that I want to spend some time on in my little research journal here is PenBBS. I haven't started. I've done a little bit of research, but I thought to get inspired, why not swatch all of these? So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 PenBBS inks. So, no, just 1 or 2. Oh, it's so dark and gloomy. I just paused to see if I could try and get a little bit more light going because it's so gloomy outside. I can't. In doing so, tipped over an entire thing of Legos. So winner chicken dinner for Sarah this morning. As I sat back down, I found a kitty ink in that mix. So I think we're down to 21. I'm not going to swatch them in any particular order color-wise. And I'm also not going to, maybe I will. I was thinking about not writing the number, but I don't know why I thought that. Maybe that's a bit silly. And I also realized that I've been like cleaning all morning and I have like a big to-do list going. And then even in doing that, I actually film PenBBS video as one of the things I want to do. So I've paused to do that, but the apartment's just in a little bit of chaos. But I like doing this. As I said, PenBBS is what I'm wanting to kind of research next. I am currently doing my Robert Oster one. So maybe I could swatch all my Robert Osters once this one's done, kind of do it in reverse and talk through it. But I really like PenBBS, so I thought this could be a nice self-inspiration and a nice little break to then keep cleaning afterwards. I've done a lot of cleaning this morning, and a little bit later on today, I'm trying really hard to not say as much. I feel like it's very Australian. Do we do numbers? Do we not? Let's do it. You have to hold me accountable, all of those on the internet who can't speak to me in real time. But maybe I do a little like this instead of writing, no, this is 517 and it's called, what were they saying? Oh, what I was doing today. My partner's friend, my partner's friend boyfriend lives in Spain, let's just say, and she lives here, but she kind of splits in between. Anyway, they're both here, and I've like met them before on like FaceTime and stuff, but we're gonna go out for like a nice pub lunch, maybe get a Parma. And on this very cold, dreary day, I think that will be really nice. So I've kind of set the morning aside. Don't have the kids this weekend. I set the morning aside to do a bunch of cleaning and sorting and everything else. But because I'm in the mix of it, like I finished a load of washing, but it's not folded, so it's on the couch. And then I also cleaned a bunch of pens yesterday, and they're out. Like it just is a bit chaotic. However, can't complain. It feels nice to be productive and it feels nice to be creative, and so to intersperse them together. And then this is a nice little dopamine break as well, doing this. So the first one is Cold Juice. The PenBBS inks I feel like the majority, just going off the labels, the majority I have purchased through the Desk Bandit, which is based in WA in Australia. I have a couple from So and So and a couple from pen friend Eleanor. I have had other PenBBS inks before, and what I find, at least with my experience with PenBBS, is I kind of know after one use, really, if I am going to like want to finish that sample or not. I don't entirely know why, but I get like a good read of it. And sometimes even just from the swatch. For example, William Shakespeare, as soon as I swatched, I was like, no, I just know it is not for me. So I then put that in the pile straight away to take to the Melbourne Pen Posse, because then it means if someone does like it, they can get that full, basically, or just under, depending on if it's a swatch or a fill, they'll get almost a full sample. William Shakespeare, actually, I didn't take to a pen posse. That was in, someone bought a couple of pens off me, and she was saying, I think I've spoken about it before, her mum is in a nursing home, and she was going and showing them different pens and stuff. So she bought a couple, and then I put some inks together of like different properties and things like that for her to just have, because I thought that could be nice for them to explore. Next up is Yanji. This one and Wuxi, which I did take to the pen posse and someone picked up. Hoping that picks up in the camera there. I don't know if this means it's a pigment. I've put this in I put Wuxi in my TWSBI and it stained it. So it's somewhat of a permanent ink. You can see how it coats the vial there. And even as it's drying, you can kind of see the difference in the property of the ink a little bit. It coats even the muddler, like it takes a lot more to clean that off. So those are two that I've come across that I would put in that real permanent, or that they're going to stain your pen, basically, page, but as in not page of paper, category, they're going to stain that. So something to be aware of. When I was chatting with Maria, she was saying that PenBBS isn't really too available in America. I know people are starting to do orders through So&So, which is really cool because it's a beautiful small business and they do have a selection. And Desk Bandit as well has a pretty good selection too. As it dries, I really like, this one I'm going to take to the pen posse, which is tomorrow, but I quite like Cold Dews. That one was from Eleanor. The brightness of the orange, but without it hurting the eyes, I think is really interesting. It's quite crisp is the word that comes to mind. Next up, we have Triangle Plum. This is the second sample of this ink that I have purchased. I've had this one before. I just really like the pardon me, the depth of it. From what I can see, the majority of the PenBBS inks do have that number. They have number 1, 2, 3, pause with a pen. There have been the odd one that hasn't had the number behind it. That isn't something I have researched as yet. I just like the depth of it, depending on the nib for this one. Some shading will come through, and it's definitely in that color category that I really do like. The research that I've done so far was really just looking at the origin, I guess, of PenBBS, and I actually didn't know, but it makes sense that PenBBS actually is an acronym. Just got to concentrate for this bit. And this is interesting. When I was talking about, coating the muddler or the nib in different ways, the Yanji coated it, but then flowed off quite fast, like it was quite slick and wet. This one, which is Heavy Snow, coats as well, but almost feels heavier. It's holding onto the vessel a lot more. Interested to then see how that pertains or translates to then on a page. Part of me, I think, would be a little bit hesitant to put this in a demonstrator, because I can kind of, some of those inks and you go, oh, that's going to even just stain the vial over time. And I feel like this is one of those. From memory, I think I've put this in my Travelers Company. I wonder if I have. I might just grab just because it's easily reachable. Oh, sorry, knocking things. Did I do that this year or last year? Oh, look at that memory. January. That's what it looks like in the Travelers Company. My Travelers Company brass, whether it's just mine or all of them, I've only ever, I guess, tried mine, really wants a saturated ink. It is so happy with saturated ink. So I definitely seem to be putting something like this, like Rosa Mexicano, Hissy Fit, Oxblood, those types of ink. It is super happy. So that's what it looked like in the fine nib. And you can see the saturation, but there are little bits of shading as well, which I found quite nice. I'm also a little bit impressed with my memory just then. So have used, I probably have one. They might get two in something like a Travelers again, because I use that mini Kaweco converter, or like one full-size pen fill left. But what I was saying before I distracted myself, and I'm going to do it again, just looking at some of the bordering of the triangle plum coming up, and you see that black halo? Beautiful. Just paused for another coughing fit. One day it will go. But for now, we just enjoy my gravelly voice. Of the research I've done so far, my understandings of PenBBS in terms of its origin story is it actually had an existence or a life before forming into a commercial business. And the acronym stands for the Pen Bulletin Board System, which, from my understanding, is the Chinese version of like fountain pen network. So a bulletin board system in China that was, very much about fountain pens, hence PenBBS bulletin board system. This one, just while I write, is 1,000 Peaks. Which does make me think of TWSBI and, the Phil in TWSBI, like it was that family business prior, but he was quite active in more so in fountain pen network, but in the bulletin board system's the wrong word, world, and had a lot of community-based feedback for those pens. My understanding is the pen bulletin board system of China was created in the early 2000s, I think around 2005, and PenBBS as a company didn't actually really form or start at least manufacturing pens for almost a decade. So for the first 10 years of the acronym PenBBS, it was really in reference to the forum. The next one is one I am itching so badly to get into a pen. I think it is so beautiful. This was a sample in some inky Happy Mail from Eleanor. It's a blue pink spruce, pardon me. I also really like the name, but I think it is so beautiful. And I wonder, because I haven't put it in a pen yet, but I guess I wonder, or I'm hoping, that this could be one of those beautiful sweet spot inks. It can be muted and shady, but it's got a wetness to it, so it's not super dry, and it is definitely readable. So you still get the depth from a shade point of view, but also the depth from an actual like pigment, like in terms of the color you can actually read. but just that browny purple coming through. I really can't think of another ink I have that's like it. Maybe also because it's getting colder, I'm wanting some moodier inks. But this one, and actually yesterday I filmed my Inky Thoughts video for April and I haven't even edited it. I think it's going to be so long. Where is it? But I swatched 2 pages of ink, but I think this has to go into the mix as well. Because when I was pulling my PenBBS inks out, I was like, oh, I forgot about that one. And I really, really want to use it. So I might put that to the side actually, because I think it's just going to have to. So as I was, I can't stop looking at it. And then look at some of the shading that's coming out of the Thousand Peaks. Probably also no surprise, 6 inks in, yet to do a non-pink, purple et al. Color. So at least I'm consistent in that sense. We shall keep going, however. They're going to mostly be in this color family. It's just how it is. This next one is Rose Quartz, which I picked up from, oh, I just made a mess, So-and-so. And in terms of inks that have the same name, I probably prefer this to Pelikan Rose Quartz. What has stopped me from putting it in a pen is just wondering if it's going to be a touch too light. But I have been playing around just doing some kind of like ink and water doodling. I don't want to call it art because I don't think it is, but doodling, and this could be one that could look really nice in that sense. And God, it's done it at the perfect time. See down the bottom here how that bit's dried quite quickly. I love the top layer of brown as you put it down, but as it dries, this really subtle pink that comes through, I think is so beautiful. And yes, is it going to be a touch too light? Also, just looking at how quickly it dries, is there a correlation between that and then its overall dry time? So I'm yet to put that one in a pen, but I do think it's a really beautiful color. But I also, can we come back to this here? Oh my God, beautiful. Maybe I do a whole month just of PenBBS inks, but then I limit. Okay, let's not get too off track. Actually, I wonder if I have, because PenBBS Strawberry Milkshake, do I have that? That ink, where is it? Have I finished it? Oh, I found Wooksy as well. I'm going to finish this page, and when it dries, I want to go and see if I still have, I think I may have finished it. PenBBS Strawberry Milkshake was one of the first sample vials I ever bought, and it made me fall in love with this color scheme, and it made me, I would definitely consider it one of the top three inks that made me fall in love with ink and exploring ink. I've gone through 2 samples because I don't think I have it anymore. Oh, that's a pity. I'll do a quick look again when this dries, but it wouldn't surprise me if I have finished that up. I'll do Wooksy now, and I must have been confusing that one with another one that had that weird kind of coating thing going on, because I definitely, someone, I think at the Feb pen posse was like, oh, that's super interesting, I want to take that home, but I can't remember then. I've gotten confused as to what it was, but that makes me more confident to say it definitely was Yanji then that stained my Twisby, unfortunately. I think that is inked up at the moment, otherwise I'd grab it to show you, I guess, dried, what it looks like stained. 572. I really wonder if I do even have a previous swatch of Strawberry Milkshake. I would just love to show the ink that made me fall in love. All right, I'll have a look while this is drying. I don't need to tangent on my tangents on my tangents. I'll do 2 more on this page. Next up, I'll do Petra. I'm holding on to this sample because literally the day I got it, I went to swatch it on a card, tipped it over, and tipped out 2/3 of the vial, which was super annoying. So I probably only have one good fill in there, and kind of then, I guess, not being hoarding. I don't want to say I've been hoarding it, but I've been a little bit more hesitant to use it. But you'll see why I want to and why I was so devastated when it did spill, because I think it's a really beautiful color. What I haven't been able to fully determine yet is there is one person, and I'm going to absolutely butcher his name. I just looked it up before. Zeng Beni or Benai, Beini. He seems to have become, I guess, the face of PenBBS, but I would like to do a little bit more research, I guess, into his origins and what moved the company from forum to actual commercial presence. I know that they have a really robust Etsy store, and I think that was part of the beginnings of it. And that man, Benai, is quite connected to the Etsy store, but there's gaps missing that before I write it all up, I want to look into a lot more. But from what I can see, really, the foundations of the ethos of this brand has really been around forum and community member feedback. Those are just interesting, looking at Wuxi and Petra next to each other. There's definitely a similarity, and then up here with Triangle Plum as well. Maybe I'll do a page actually looking at the three of them. Maybe also with Lhasa City, or Lesser Fullness actually, could be quite close. They do have a really wide range of inks. I think there's over a few hundred, whether it's 300 or 400. And what seems to be quite common for a lot of Chinese brands is they release their inks in, oh, my phone's dinging off there, apologies. They release their inks in seasons, so similar to Kitty Inkpot. I haven't found a confirmed number, but from what I can see, each season has at least 10 inks in it, and then sometimes more. And for this one, this is after the flower, and I just want to concentrate because I definitely will mess up the spelling. It's the bougainvillea. Bougainvillea? I always feel like I want to say bougainvillea because bogan is a Australian slang term, but I can't imagine that is the correct pronunciation, but let me know. That was from so and so as well. That finishes page 1. So what I'll do is I'll let this dry. As I just want to, I really think that's what I want to do next, is actually do a comparison, like pull out those and some other inks and really look at like drilling down into a color family. I've tried a couple of times before. What's always stopped me is, like, I wonder what I should do is, Serial Nana, when she does her swatch with friends and she kind of goes across the page and you get like a line of it, but because of how she's doing it, you still get the different amounts of like ink pooling. I wonder if I really want to do a zone in on like this dark red burgundy, if I kind of do it like that, because I want there to be less space between the inks when really looking at the similarities. So I'll have a think about that. But I don't know if this ink speaks to you, but for me, I can tell why I am hoarding Petra a little bit. I think it's so beautiful. And just the slight differences that the Bougainvillea leans more red and bright, but also quite rich. but just the hints of pink that come into this one are, I like it a lot more. And then this guy here, can you see why I need to get this in a pen? Look at it. All right, I'll let it dry. How many do we get through? 10. I will let it dry, and then I'm going to have the issue of having an odd number. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I'm going to have 11. Let me see if I can find strawberry milkshake, and maybe I end up not inking one, not swatching one. We shall see. I'll be back in a second. Okay, they're almost dry. I'm getting impatient. I finished up my strawberry milkshake, and I just did a little bit of Googling. The bottle looks to be sold out everywhere. The 2 stockers of PenBBS in Australia, so-and-so and Desk Bandit, so-and-so has 2 ml samples left, and they're 5 ml glass bottles that they do. Like this is sold out, and the full bottles are sold out as well. So I might need to find one that's similar, but that is what it looks like. This is an old swatch book. It's such a beautiful ink, but disappointing. Maybe they've retired it as well. This is what they look like dry. Getting some sheen out of the heavy snow. This is just beautiful. Okay, they're almost dry, but impulse control. Interestingly, I think I was a bit too harsh on this one because it goes down a lot redder and then dries more into that burgundy family, and I like it a lot more when it's dry. Quite similar, sorry, I just knocked everything there, to Wuxi and Petra, but that lightness of the red actually gives it a few different characteristics, so really beautiful as well. I also, and I'm just going to find it here because with how my brain works, I can't just do one leftover on a piece of paper. So I've decided not to swatch June Pearl because it's a shimmer and I only have one, but I'll just show you that's what it looks like. So that would be my 21st PenBBS ink, but there you go. While I was waiting for them to dry, I was looking at it, I asked AI a couple questions as well, just to continue my research and kind of chat through it now. And the thing that came up was overall PenBBS inks are known to be on the drier side, which, yeah, it's funny because I don't find them overly dry, but it's actually on purpose. The reason being, I guess, Chinese company and Chinese calligraphy designed for use of Chinese calligraphy, and with the nibs and pens they use there, or pen holders I should say, the slightly drier ink works a bit better. Continuing on, for the first one of the next page is Lhasa City. There definitely seems to be, and I don't know if they've done it like they'll do a whole season, but a lot of inks are named after different cities in China, whether it's a whole city like that or not. Don't dip that in my tea. Maybe I'll move that a little bit closer. That would be not too nice to taste, but they definitely name quite a few inks after cities or different historical figures as well. What did I say this was? 278. Ooh, there we go. And some of the numbering seems to be quite tied to the fact that it grew out of a forum-based conversation. So when then they started producing and manufacturing and had their, I guess, research and development aspect of it, you could have batch 1 or version 1, version 200, and yada yada. So that seems to be tied to its the numbering system. I have one more city. Where's my rule? I'm going to butcher the name. This one here, which is also of this color. Oh no, I've got one more. This is another city, Rouge. I think it's actually a Jeune, the J-I together. So we'll do that one next. Something about the Lhasa city reminds me a little bit, not in terms of the color, but when I have swatched, and I've spoken about it a couple of times actually, because I find the ink really bizarre. Martian from Colorverse, and when you put it down, it has that luminescence or like almost fluoro feel to it. And I get a similar feeling when I swatch Lhasa City. This one is Rougin, number 537. The dinging of my phone before was good news. My partner is going away for just over a week. Ooh. Next week, I want to say, and was struggling to find her passport. I knew she would have it, but she found it. So it was just sending me a couple of texts of excitement before she then, I think, gets ready to head over here before we go out for our pub lunch. Haven't used this one yet. It's obviously a brown, but there's like these really subtle hints. Is it a pink or a peach almost coming through there as it dries? Look at this guy as it dries, just the shading and the haloing, really, really beautiful. So been thinking about a pen to put that in. I'm not sure, it could maybe look nice in a gold pen. I would love to put that actually in a brass pen. The only brass pen I have at the moment is the Travelers Company, and it is like a teenage girl. It's very opinionated. I say that as a girl. All teenagers are opinionated. I'm just self-identifying. So I don't know, because it is more in that muted, shady family. My gut is telling me that the pen won't like it. There we go. But really sad that there's no strawberry milkshake left. The person at work that I penabled, I work across multiple offices, two, and I hadn't seen her in, I don't know, like a week and a half. It'd just been a lot longer than usual. And I saw her the other day and I was like, do you need me to re-ink your pen? Like, surely you're, it's time. And she's like, oh, yeah, but, well, I went and bought some samples. And my first reaction was, why did you go and do that? I have so many and I would love to share them and ink things up for you. But then I quickly realized she's a grown woman and can also do what she wants, and totally get the excitement when you are coming into the hobby of, doing your first order of samples, etc. But she ordered 3 and paid for shipping. Well, I mean, not that paying for shipping is bad, but it's a very, very controlled sample order from Desk Bandit. She ordered a couple of Robert Oster inks, I think. This is Japanese Morning Glory. I really only have one fill left of this. Again, a really beautiful ink. This one I have put in my Pilot E95S before, which has gone really, really beautifully. And also I think the Zero Phantom, but the memory that comes to mind is in my Pilot. And if I can just come back up here for a second to this 537, and it's just showing me that I need to explore this ink more, because can you see in that top bit near the R as it's drying, this kind of warm grey has come through. That's so, so beautiful. Anyway, I said to her, well, please let me know when you want some more and you can, come and have a look. Anyway, we're going to do she's going to come over one day after work and we're just going to sit and swatch, and she is excited to, I guess, create her own first swatch book. which I'm really, I don't know, I love sharing the hobby. It's so much fun, and watching someone fall in love with it, as I guess as we all have. This is Summer Solstice, which is number 510. And I know I was saying before, some of them felt quite wet going down, and knowing they are an ink known to be slightly drier, but this is another one that actually feels quite lubricated. What did I say it's called? Summer Solstice. But then, because I also struggle with impulse control, I said, well, next time you do a sample order, let me know, because I always have carts going and we could combine them, maybe tip it over to free shipping, yada yada. And having seen now that there's really only one place I could get another sample vial of strawberry milkshake, I feel like I would like to introduce her to so-and-so. So I'm just going to move the page up a little bit. Next up is Lesser Fullness. This ink, I literally got this sample purely on the name. What an amazing name. I love fun or just interesting ink names. Lesser Fullness definitely sits in that for me. I think Warringal does some fantastic names as well. I'm not sure what came first in terms of PenBBS developing and creating inks or pens. That is one of the questions I've written myself for my eventual capturing of research. But from what I do know thus far about the pens, a lot of them are the injection molded plastic or resin, and they then are turned on the lathe. What number is this? 508. And they are known for some like different daily driver ones, some, again, that resin, that kind of patterned plastic. And then they do have a couple of pens that are a little bit like interesting or bizarre, I guess. There's one I've actually never written with it before. I've seen it before, and it's a double, so it actually has two nibs or two ends. And I was just looking up before to try and see what it was called, the 469 double ended. So it's a single pen body, but it has two inks, and it is closed off in the middle, so you can hold two different inks in there, which I guess if you want, it's like a fountain pen version of the clicky pen with a 50% reduction, but kind of interesting. That's interesting. And then they also have some of their their pens, I guess, inspired by or based on other well-known pens like the Custom 823 or the Parker 51, which I don't think is surprising given the origins of coming out of a forum. I feel like they have quite a well-known piston or vac filler pen as well, with quite a high ink capacity, which people definitely go to when you want that kind of daily driver that can hold a whole bunch of ink. That larger capacity can be super helpful. So this one is called Autumn Frosted Leaves. I'm going to make an educated guess that some of their series also are nature or season inspired, looking at things like summer solstice, autumn frosted leaves, cold dews, heavy snow. You can see some thematics there too. Can we come back up to this? There was the grey, now there's some blue haloing coming in. And I still feel like I'm struggling to describe, as I have with Martian probably 6 or 7 times now, that luminescent, fluoro, sciencey feeling that it evokes, like Martian or like the Birmingham Pen Company phytoplankton, which is green. I mean, green, brown, and orange, all very different colors, but just that feeling there. Of the oranges, autumn frosted leaves is probably something I would lean to more than cold dews, but there is a crispness in that one that's really beautiful. And for some reason, that was a really small little doobie walker. 4 left, and my spacing seems to have gone okay. This next one is the second time I've gotten this sample as well. It also being one of, I think in that same Desk Bandit order, my first ever Desk Bandit order where I fell in love with Strawberry Milkshake, I also got this ink, which is a super dark purple and really beautiful. It's Purple Jade. I've never felt the need to get a bottle of this. I wanted another sample because I do like, not all the time, but I like having the options of black adjacent inks. So your super dark blue, your super dark green, your green, black, green, blue, I should say. And this fits into that in the purple category. I kind of want to see what that looks like next to, I mean, you can see Thousand Peaks is significantly lighter, but that purple grey, purple black, I think this is a really nice option if you're looking for that type of colour. Just had a look outside and it has started raining again. So I was gonna straighten my hair after this, but then it's gonna go all frizzy when I go outside, alas. Third last is Mulberry. And whenever I see an ink with a name, or with Mulberry as part of the name, I'm always, well, it at least gets like an initial add to cart, and then I can go and actually think about it later, because Mulberry always seems to be in that dark burgundy family that I really love, and this one absolutely does not disappoint. You can see the browns coming through almost straight away. But again, at least on this nib, it's not a super, like not super wet by any means, but it doesn't feel overly dry. But I can see that nuance coming through, because there are definitely some of these that I know, for example, the Travelers Company would just not like. 2 left, and I do have some 2 greens, or greenish, so it's not all purple. This up here is wild. And I think I said when I was doing this one, oh, I think I'd probably do this over this, but I take it back, and it's actually reminding me a little bit of the Kitty Inkpot gramophone that can only rewind. I just want to go to that quickly without messing up. Where's my gramophone? Oh, I'm wrong. I don't know why I was thinking that. That's a lot greener. Which one am I thinking of? Am I thinking of the other one I was just wondering about? Was, I thought maybe unless I've gotten them confused, I thought there's Distant Wind and Dust, which was a really weird writing experience. So that could be a better option. The PenBBS ink there. Sorry, I just realized I wasn't in frame. I thought Molten Ginger Cookies was the super greeny one, and Gramophone was more grey. I don't think I've got them back to front. Maybe they're just both green. Baby Cat is a warmer, I reckon, version of that. I need to find it somewhere. I just saw Martian. I don't know if that explains, I guess, what I was trying to talk about. Where is the, Eleanor gave me the malt and ginger. Valentine's Day. Probably super. Yeah, I was wrong. That's it down there. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to stop flipping through. That would be incredibly boring content. And I guess also in a nice way, I thought it was reminding me of an ink, but it's actually really different. So there's a different option and thing to explore, which is also really nice. Next up is cedar wood. That thing before I was saying about doing the line across like Shauna does to really look at inks. I've also been contemplating for that kind of olive brown green, and this would definitely be one that comes into that. Darker, but really nice. 435. Gorgeous. And lucky last, is Spring Morning, number 567. Again, making me feel like they definitely have a seasonal weather vibe for some of their series releases as well. See, that does not feel like a dry ink coming off that nib. And you can see even in the width of the muddler, and obviously it's quite a different writing experience to nibs, but I can, when I keep using the same tool, even just how it sits against the glass and then when it first makes contact with the paper, it's pretty amazing how much you can learn about the ink and then think of how it'll sit in a pen. I would love to have the self-control like Simone does, of every time she tests a new pen, she always does it with the same Waterman ink. And I have tried to do that before, but it just doesn't happen. I go, oh no, I want to try this one in it. And then like when I did that with the Benu, I absolutely put the wrong ink in it first. And then for my first writing experience in the video, you know, if I would have tested, like when you can test everything with the same ink, you probably get a better feel for it, and then you're not wasting ink or cleaning and things like that. But I don't have that self-control. One day I would love to, when all the pens are clean, dip test all of them in like my Parker Black, but I don't have all of them clean. So that was the last one, which was Spring Morning, which is a nice crisp light green. This cedarwood here, the browns coming through, it reminds me of a darker version of Cicada Rain. They're not the same, but just see how you've got like the green base with then this is a warmer brown coming through, different brown and different green, but that same kind of breakaway feeling or pattern or quality, whatever you want to call it. Just saw that I made a mess there, so I'm just going to try and dab that so it doesn't go through to the next page. So there you have it. Those are, if you forget June Pearl, the 20 current PenBBS inks that I have, all in sample. Majority of them I have purchased myself over the years, and then a couple of really nice ones that were in English included in Happy Mail from Eleanor. I think they're a really nice ink. They have some really beautiful colors and options, and yeah, I just wanted to go through them all because I do understand that they're not widely available in, well, you know, outside of Asia, and then a little bit in Australia. I would love to know if one of these jumps out as a favorite for you, or if you've used any. If you also love strawberry milkshake and have something you found that's really close, can you let me know in the comments? Because, oh, that's a bit sad, but from ones I've used, I can definitely recommend Heavy Snow. I can recommend oh, I'm not thinking, this one, Purple Jade, really beautiful to write with. I've also used Japanese Morning Glory before. I've definitely used, I can't remember if I've used Autumn Frosted Leaves or one that I don't have anymore. I've definitely used more. Maybe I've used Petra in the E95S, and that worked really well too. But I think this guy here is definitely going to have to come into play for April. I think that is gorgeous. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Having just swatched Cedarwood again, I go, oh, that's really beautiful, and I'd like to get that into a pen too. Maybe it's lesser fullness I've used in the E95S. Anyway, I've used, I guess, 5 or 6 of these current ones in pens, and I've had really beautiful experiences with all of them. And yeah, and I guess as I continue to try and find or branch out, if there's a blue PenBBS ink that you love, maybe put that in the comment down below as well. Thank you so much for hanging around with me. Probably another long video because I did stop halfway through. So if you're still hanging around, thank you very, very much, and I'll chat to you again soon. Bye.